get up, got really excited, wake up in the morning, open the presents, all that good stuff that I mentioned before. But it just crumbled into my mind. It just came to my mind that like, why should we really be putting Christmas decorations up in November? And this is because I've been back in Scotland, right, and it's occurred to me that I have been seeing, like, back in November, I want to say, right, I seen people putting decorations up, right, the earliest time of November, and I just think to myself, right, okay, this is kind of insane to me, like, why would somebody do this, right? Christmas, I see, but maybe put your decorations up in December, maybe not November. That's just blowing it out of the park right there because Christmas happens on the 25th of December, and so if you're going to be putting decorations up from November 1st to December 25th, right? That is almost 2 months of your life dedicated to Christmas, and you're absolutely going to be sick of that, and I absolutely definitely.
You are about to experience The James Rambling Show, hosted by James Patton.
Hello, welcome back to the James Ramberlin Show. And today we're gonna be talking about Christmas. We're gonna do a Christmas themed episode of the James Ramblin' Show. Right, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the James Ramblin' Show. Right, I'm gonna be doing a Christmas themed episode. I did this last year, but I think that this year we're gonna spice up the topics, maybe make it a little bit more interesting compared to last year. We did have a story about believing in Santa for 11 years, and that was some insane material we put out there for the world. A big, big confession I never told. So there's definitely that, but I'll just mention I have a few reviews coming out, or I've had them coming out, right? They've been out, and so it's been Kills of the Flower Moon, Doctor Who 60th anniversary stuff, and also the Home Alone stuff. So I'll link all of that below. So I mentioned, right, we're going to be doing a Christmas themed episode because as I'm recording this, right, it's the 20th of December. It's almost Christmas time, right? And wearing a Christmas jumper, wearing a Santa hat. So I'm just like, okay, let's absolutely get into this. So the topics that are the topic I want to kick this episode off with is quite the interesting one because I have never dabbled into this before, but I kind of want to give my own opinion on should you really put your decorations up in November? And so that is something I've never shared before, never shared my opinion. And as somebody that loves Christmas, right? I love Christmas, right? And I've said this before, right? I've said before that, okay, I don't really like Halloween, or I've been getting into horror movies a little bit more. It's not my favourite time of the year, but Christmas is a good time of year because you get to spend time with family, get to eat food, get to open presents. And I was someone who really loves Christmas, right? Get up, got really excited, wake up in the morning, open the presents, all that good stuff that I mentioned before. But it just crumbled into my mind. It just came to my mind that like, why should we really be putting Christmas decorations up in November? And this is because I've been back in Scotland, right, and it's occurred to me that I have been seeing, like, back in November, I want to say, right, I seen people putting decorations up, right, the earliest time of November, and I just think to myself, right, okay, this is kind of insane to me, like, why would somebody do this, right? Christmas, I see, but maybe put your decorations up in December, maybe not November. That's just blowing it out of the park right there because Christmas happens on the 25th of December, and so if you're going to be putting decorations up from November 1st to December 25th, right? That is almost 2 months of your life dedicated to Christmas, and you're absolutely going to be sick of that, and I absolutely definitely think that. Although Google actually begs to differ here because I actually read up on this thing about how, right, it says this was as of November 2nd, 2023, so we're adding that new spin of the reading information as well here, so that we've been doing this year, right? So it says many people, however, switch their minds to the holidays as soon as Halloween is over, and as it turns out, the experts agree that putting your Christmas tree in November is good, right? Putting up your Christmas tree in November is good, right? Okay, And one study states that putting up your holiday decorations early immediately increases your happiness, right? So if you're very, very happy about Christmas and you want to get those decorations up right away, then that's fine. But it's just kind of this thing of it's an interesting little topic because not everybody actually does this. They usually do it right, and especially in my household, and I don't think I've ever talked about this before, but in my household, I usually put the decorations up in December. It's never November. None of that kind of stuff. And even let's not even get into this idea like of putting your Christmas tree or decorations or your decorations up all year round. Like, don't even get me started on that. Like, imagine doing that. Right, Christmas is in December. It's not any other time of the year, and so I just wanted to mix that up for you. Like that idea of how should you really be putting your decorations up in November 1st or whatever? So there's definitely that, but there's another kind of aspect that I've never really touched on about Christmas and stuff like that, and that is to do with how like there's a lot of panic buying. Now that is very, 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 very random, but like, you know, there's a lot of people during Christmas time that want to buy stuff so much, right? Especially when it gets to December 20th and things of that nature. They want to buy so much, and there's tons of queues, and everybody wants to buy those things, and then things run out of stock, and everything goes crazy. And you see a lot of crazy drivers and all of that kind of stuff. So there's definitely that, but there was also this idea, right, that I don't think I've ever talked about this before, but there's this thing about like Secret Santa, right? And this is a thing that I don't actually think I've ever mentioned on this show before. But me and my family recently, like in the past few years, we've been doing Secret Santa. And if you don't know what Secret Santa is, it's like you pick a present, right? And you have a chosen selection of somebody you're gonna give this present to, but you don't tell the actual person. They only find out on the day, and we've been doing that, right? And it's quite a fun thing. Like you get to see maybe what you could get for Christmas, and then it all happens and stuff like that. And it's quite a kind of like convenient thing because for a while, right, I was so excited I got all these presents, and now I've been getting older and stuff like that. So having that Secret Santa thing where you're getting like maybe I don't know 2 or 3 things instead of like 10 things on Christmas Day is very, very, very beneficial for you. And so there's stuff like that to do with Christmas, to do with how there's like all those ideas around, should you really be putting your Christmas decorations up in November? Should you do that, right? The panic buying as well is very, very hectic indeed, and then you've got that stuff to do with Secret Santa. So is there any other Christmas topics that we can dabble into here? Now, I think I might have talked about this before, but I actually rewatched the Lord of the Rings movies, and I guess this is Christmas themed because these movies came out in December, and the third one turned 20 years old as of late. So I was like to myself, okay, why not rewatch these very, very amazing movies? And I have to say, right, Lord of the Rings, 20 years later, whatever, they still hold up as a franchise. Like, I watch these extended editions and I feel like I'm watching this on 2 times speed. I feel like I actually watched this in 2 hours. Like, it just flew by because, man, there's all the Lord of the Rings, man. It's just really amazing, very well put together cinema. Like, the acting is amazing. You've got amazing dialogue, you've got amazing action sequences, you've also got like the Battle of Helm's Deep, the Battle of Gondor. There is so much the good stuff to do with that, and the reason why I consider it like a Christmas movie is like there's actual themes of like joy and happiness. Like I know there's depressing stuff like Mordor and these creepy things and like depressing things in the movies, but it's like this joy to push forward and have happiness. And Christmas is a joyful time of year, so it makes perfect sense to really watch Lord of the Rings, especially because these movies came out in December, and I can even guarantee you that in the next 20, 30, maybe 40 years, these movies will still hold up, like age like fine wine. And so I definitely think that the Lord of the Rings franchise is still some of the best content in 2023, even if you watch it 20 years later, man. I mean, it's just really, really good stuff. So, these are these kind of different Christmas themed ideas that I have just decided to talk about with all of that kind of stuff. So what else am I going to talk about in this episode? Well, it just came to my mind that there was actually another Christmas themed thing. Now, if you remember right, I think I talked about how I went down this IG Reels rabbit hole where I found like sticking out a yacht for the Rizzler and all these weird TikTok looking like Instagram reels like like this Gen Alpha humor. Well, there's like this Christmas anthem. Like they made a Christmas anthem. It's like, I don't want a lot, I want a lot for Christmas. There's this one thing I need, and I don't care about the presents. Da, 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 da. Well, there's this like meme version of it. It's like, oh, don't get a lot for Christmas, right? And we've talked about Riz before, but I thought we would add this into the episode because it's actually another Christmassy kind of thing here. So it's beginning to look a gat like Christmas. So I will link this below in the clip when we talk about it, right? So here we go, right? Here we go again, right? Hold on a minute. So this is the Gat Christmas song. I think this is it, right? Okay, this doesn't sound like it. I think there was like a Family Guy version or something like that. So is this the last Christmas, right? Hold on a second, right? I'm just gonna pause this real quick to find this. Well, I'm back, right, and I managed to find it, and it was actually SpongeBob. It's like this. I don't get a lot for Christmas now. This is the Christmas anthem of all time, I guess. But well, let's see here. I'll definitely link that in the description. But man, oh man, I know we did the IG Reels thing, but this is a really weird Christmas anthem. Like you think about like Christmas music and how it's so happy and it's nice to listen to, but this is definitely a weirder version of Christmas music, and it's just the weird Gen Z, like Gen Alpha humor that people are just using that. So there's a full version as well, but I mean it's probably just more of the same, I imagine. This is from 2 weeks ago, but yeah, okay, this is just the same. It's just a remix, a weird remix of music, and I think there's like a lot of Christmas remix music. So this has definitely been a Christmassy sort of episode. We've tried to sort of try and do some different topics compared to last year's Christmas episode. So there's actually some other stuff that I wanted to talk about, right? And I have to say, right, I know this is we're going a different direction with this, but I thought I would talk about how I actually had this really really strange experience with delivering food. Now I don't know if I've talked about like food deliveries or whatever on this show before, but I think I would talk about this. I thought I should have talked about this, right, because it's happened as of late and it's something in my life I want to share. So I had this experience with Domino's, right? And if you know what Domino's is, like this big pizza chain, right? Everyone goes to it, everyone enjoys it, but I had this experience where I was ordering this food, right? I was gonna come till 6:20 to 6:40. Then it comes at 6:55. I phoned the place before just to make sure, and then they said, oh wait, wait, someone was at the door, but nobody answered. But nobody was actually at the door when they said this, right? And it was weird, right? It was like nobody knocked at the door at 6:40. Phoned this place, right? And it was just insane to me. It was like, what the hell was happening here? So it was like 15 minutes later. Managed to get the food right, and that's decent about it, right? Obviously, they have these special bags where they make sure that it's hot enough when you get it from the delivery person, right? And I ordered with Just Eats, so there's that. But this is actually, I didn't realize this, right? And this is pretty much the kind of nightmare horrors of not delivering food tons, but it costs like £70 for this food, and so I never realized, okay, I could actually get a Just Eats delivery with a deal or whatever, but I didn't realise that, and I was just I made a total stupid mistake, and it was definitely a skill issue, the skill issue of all time. So there's definitely that kind of stuff where we have a bit of a Christmas episode, right? We have a bit of that stuff, and we have that skill issue going on. But to kind of put the kind of normal formula we've been doing this year, right? I kind of want to talk about a current event that popped to my mind about how, right, there was Joe Biden getting there's a drunk driver crashing into Joe Biden. So we definitely have that, and I thought I would just talk about this because it's quite an interesting little topic here, right? So drunk driver Joe Biden, right? So I don't think I've actually watched this video, but it says man charged with drunk driving after crashing into Biden's motorcade, right? Right. So this is an article of it here, right? So and the US president said there was no protective interest associated with this event, right? I know we don't get political here, right? I don't even think this is even political, but it's just kind of hilarious how somebody managed to crash into Joe Biden and stuff like that, right? I want to see if there's a video because I actually never watched this video, right? So I'm actually going to play this and give it credit. Right, what is it? What the hell? There's not really much. There's not really much of a footage here for some reason. So wait a minute. Is that it there? Hold on a minute. See if I can find this. Do, 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 do. Well, it's just people reporting on it, not really showing much, to be honest with you. But it is certainly a it's certainly a strange thing because, right, you know, Joe Biden being a bit silly here. So there's definitely that kind of stuff where we had that Christmassy themed episode Woody Muscody, right? But I just remembered that, right, I want to talk about this now because it was something that I noticed with last week's episode that a lot of people were kind of mad at me about my opinion on the Stavros special. They're like, "Oh, the Shane Gillis special was amazing, and this is terrible." And that's kind of what you're used to in online, to be honest with you. Like, right, you get a lot of hate comments sometimes, and people disagree with you. That's fine. But I just noticed, right, we got 1.3 thousand views on that video or that clip or whatever. And I wasn't really expecting that. Maybe it was the title that made people want to watch it more and just comment on it, right? Because, like, I am actually going to see, right, there's a few comments on this clip I made, right? So they all just kind of made it so that they thought that, oh, the Shane Gill special was done, much better, right? So, right, okay. Do, 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 do. So, there's a lot of comments saying it's 100% better than Matt Rife, not even close to Shane Gillis. Right, better than Rife, right? They're saying this, right? They're all saying, oh, it's better than this or whatever, right? And I did actually have a clip where this Meg movie I was talking about got like 1.5 thousand views on YouTube or whatever. And the fact that I got 1,000 views and this got 1,000 views is kind of insane to me. I don't know how we pulled that off, but sometimes we just got lucky, I guess. And so I guess like I don't actually know where else to even take this week's episode of the James Ramblin' Show, right? I might just make this a bit more of a shorter episode, a bit more of a simple episode, right? Where we had all of that stuff to do with Christmas, right? But then we had some current events and some current life stuff again. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the James Ramblin' Show, right? See you next week for another episode of James Ramblin' Show. And this is going to be next week, we're going to have episode 100 of this show, which is even insane. Really is insane that we've even made it to this point of 100 episodes. So maybe we will do a recap where we talk about the past year of the show and reflect and all of that good stuff, right? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode and stay tuned for more like it, right? We hopefully maybe we'll make it to episode 150. Who knows at this point? So yeah, bye. Hope you have a very good Merry Christmas and have all that good stuff. Have a good New Year and stuff like that. Because next week we're gonna have next week's episode will be the last episode of the year and stuff. So Bye, 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 bye.